On December 23rd in Los Angeles, an object plummets from the sky, landing in a shadowy alley to reveal a pair of large wings. This is the archangel Michael, who cries out in agony as he takes out a knife. His wings detach, and his halo diminishes until it encircles a collar that falls from his neck. He then gains entry to a building by crashing through its glass ceiling, swiftly incapacitating a security guard to take his uniform. In the restroom, he locates a first aid kit and sutures the wounds where his wings had been. Clad in the stolen uniform, Michael goes to a container filled with firearms and takes as many as he can carry. Finding the front door locked, he channels his power to create a powerful explosion that blasts a cross-shaped opening. He is spotted by 2 police officers who immediately move to apprehend him, but Michael seizes one and disarms him, using him as a human shield. The other officer's body is suddenly racked by a violent seizure before he is possessed, revealing serrated teeth and black eyes. In a deeper voice, the officer demands to know what Michael is doing, stating this is not part of his orders. Michael retorts that he is now following his own commands. The officer declares that Michael will perish with the child, then opens fire, killing his partner. Michael evades the shots and guns down the possessed man before making his escape in the police car. As he speeds through the city, all the lights extinguish. That evening, Jeep is plagued by nightmares, unable to sleep. His girlfriend Charlie attempts to soothe him, telling him not to be so anxious. She is carrying a child that is not his, but Jeep intends to care for it as his own. The next day, Jeep's father, Bob, opens his diner and chastises Charlie for smoking during her pregnancy. A man named Kyle stops in, having gotten lost with no phone service. A family is also present, their car having broken down. Jeep was meant to repair it, but is taking a long time. Bob goes to find Jeep and discovers him mending an old crib instead of the car. An argument erupts, with Bob asserting that Jeep shouldn't raise another man's child. Jeep confesses he's been having vivid, unsettling dreams about Charlie that compel him to protect her. After warning Jeep that acting on a hunch is foolish, Bob returns to the diner and sees that the television is only displaying static. He strikes it a few times, and an emergency broadcast appears on the screen. Simultaneously, Jeep observes immense strange clouds gathering on the horizon, expanding with each passing second. Inside the diner, the radio and telephone are also inoperative. Just then, an elderly woman named Gladys enters, orders food, and begins to chat amiably with the patrons. Meanwhile, Jeep informs Bob that he lacks the necessary parts to fix the family's car. When Charlie delivers the food, Gladys inquires about her pregnancy before abruptly declaring that the baby is going to burn. Charlie is left speechless, and Gladys repeats the statement with more vulgar language. A stunned silence falls over the diner, and a distraught Charlie flees the room. Gladys calmly consumes her meal, unfazed by the swarm of flies that is now gathered around it. She proclaims that all babies will burn. When a woman named Sandra confronts her, Gladys hurls an insult as her eyes turn black. Sandra's husband Howard steps forward to defend his wife, but Gladys leaps onto him, bites a large chunk of flesh from his neck, and flips the table, screaming that everyone will die. The cook, Percy, strikes her in the head with a pan, but she recovers instantly with only a minor scratch. She then scampers onto the ceiling, deftly avoiding the bullets as Bob fires at her. Gladys drops down close enough to strike and disarm Bob. Jeep rushes for the gun but hesitates when she says, "You'll never save her." Seizing the opportunity, Gladys lunges across the floor to attack him, but she is shot multiple times by Kyle and falls dead. Howard's daughter, Audrey, watches from a corner as blood drips from the ceiling. He has lost a significant amount of blood. They place him in Kyle's car and set off in search of a hospital. Their path is soon blocked by a massive swarm of locusts, which quickly envelops the car. The insects infiltrate the vehicle through every crack and crevice, filling the interior and causing the occupants to panic. Back at the diner, Jeep is vomiting. Bob consoles him, assuring him there is no shame in being unable to kill. They hear the car returning and Bob hurries outside, only to witness the colossal swarm of locusts darkening the sky. Moments later, as the men carry Gladys's body outside, a police car approaches. The moment Michael exits his vehicle, Bob aims his weapon at him, prompting the angel to reveal his normal, unsharpened teeth. As Bob tries to explain, Michael realizes the people in the diner are unaware that the end of days has begun. He takes the gun and points it at Bob, but Percy intervenes, trying to de-escalate the situation. After a moment of thought, Michael warns them that more people like Gladys are coming. He returns Bob's gun and equips everyone with a weapon from his car, specifically telling Charlie to avoid any heroic acts. They all retreat into the diner and immediately fortify the entrances with furniture, settling in to wait. As night descends, the electricity fails. The men take to the roof to stand watch. They spot an ice cream truck parking nearby. When its driver emerges, he lets out a deafening screech from a cavernous mouth as his limbs grotesquely elongate. The creature charges the men, who open fire and continue shooting until it is dead. More cars are approaching, their occupants also transforming, so Michael orders everyone to fire. Several cars swerve off the road, some crashing and causing a large explosion. Michael uses a rocket launcher to trigger a second blast that causes a large truck to crash and block the road, leading to a pileup. The drivers emerge from the remaining vehicles and advance toward the diner. The group is horrified to see children among them. Michael has to remind them to keep shooting, as these beings are no longer human. Dozens of bodies drop, but one attacker manages to smash through a window and conceal itself in the shadows. Jeep, uncertain where to aim, is unable to stop the intruder from seizing Howard and dragging him away. The women rush to help, but another enemy, excited by the sight of Charlie, grabs her as well. Michael quickly severs the man's arm to rescue Charlie, but Howard vanishes into the horde. Michael then fires at the windows, forcing the intruders to retreat. A hysterical Sandra is desperate to find her husband, and Michael must inform her that Howard is gone. He also reprimands Charlie for her actions, reminding her to stay out of harm's way. Afterward, Bob demands answers. Michael explains that God has become disgusted with humanity and desires their annihilation. Much like the Great Flood he orchestrated in ancient times, the attackers are all possessed by God's warrior angels carrying out his orders. Michael admits he was once one of them. Some in the group find it impossible to believe angels would act this way, and when Bob declares he doesn't believe in God, Michael retorts that God has lost faith in humanity as well. He reveals he is there to guard Charlie because her unborn child represents mankind's last salvation. Even if they don't believe his story, they must protect Charlie, as the creatures will relentlessly pursue her. Charlie is 8 months pregnant, and the baby is destined to be born on Christmas. Later, Jeep privately asks Michael for more details about himself. The angel explains he was a general in God's heavenly army, but dissented from the latest command, which is why he defected. God may have lost faith, but Michael has not. He sees a world rife with hatred and darkness, yet he also sees hope in those who refuse to surrender and continue to fight for their beliefs, like Jeep. The next morning, Bob and Michael are on the roof. Michael recalls the events leading to his fall. When he began to defy God, the archangel Gabriel argued with him, insisting he stay and asserting that humanity had earned its judgment. Michael, however, believed an angel's purpose was to guide humanity toward the right path. He watched as thousands of angels prepared for battle, while Gabriel informed him that the war was inevitable. Inside the diner, Sandra is awakened by someone calling her name. She goes to the back door to investigate and hears Howard's weeping voice. Cracking the door open just enough to see, she is horrified by the sight of Howard, crucified upside down. His body is covered in boils, and he repeatedly begs for help. As Sandra begins to dismantle the barricade, Percy and Audrey rush to stop her, but she shoves them aside. She runs outside toward her husband, whose boils are on the verge of bursting. Percy reaches her just in time, shielding her with his body as the boils explode, spewing acid that severely burns his back. He carries Sandra back inside, and once she is safe, he collapses, his back burned to the bone. Bob weeps for his old friend, blaming himself for dozing off during his watch. Sandra is tied to a chair, and as Audrey tries to feed her, Sandra lashes out, blaming her daughter for their predicament, as they had been relocating because of her. A short time later, they manage to get a radio broadcast. Survivors are forming militias across the country to fight the possessed, and the group wishes to join them. Michael forbids it, stating it would leave Charlie vulnerable. In a private moment, Charlie confesses to Jeep that she had intended to abort the pregnancy, but delayed too long, and the clinic was unable to perform the procedure. She felt trapped by the pregnancy and resented the child for it. That night, power is restored to the diner. A car pulls up, and Kyle and Audrey prepare to fire, but they hold their weapons upon seeing that the man and his son appear normal. This proves to be a deception. The possessed restored the power to lure the survivors into the open, and they now have them surrounded, ready for the kill. Kyle slides down the roof and engages the attackers, firing as he moves, hoping to at least save the child. Inside, Bob wants to help, but Michael levels his gun at him, warning that opening the door would doom them all. After shooting several men, Kyle reaches the boy and picks him up, only to discover the child is also possessed. The boy bites Kyle's neck, killing him. Audrey cries out and leaps from the roof to join the battle, shooting every possessed individual she encounters. When she runs out of ammunition, she takes refuge in a car, which the enemy quickly swarms. Furious that Michael is doing nothing, Charlie threatens to go out herself. Left with no other option, Michael grabs his weapons and enters the fray. He decimates the enemy with a combination of gunfire and hand-to-hand combat, emerging unscathed. Reaching the gas pumps, he shoots one to create a makeshift flamethrower, setting the car on fire. As the possessed retreat, Michael walks through the flames, breaks open the car door, and rescues Audrey. They hurry back to the diner, getting inside just before the explosion reaches them. Charlie goes to the kitchen for water and discovers that the eerie child has infiltrated the diner. He attacks her with a knife, wounding her before she can use a tray to defend herself. The knife glances off the metal and severs the child's thumbs. When Charlie kicks him away, the boy vanishes, and the power fails again. Using flashlights, the group follows a blood trail and spots handprints on the ceiling. The boy suddenly drops onto Bob from behind and tries to kill him. As they grapple, Michael grabs the child and flings him off, giving Jeep the opportunity to shoot him dead. At that moment, Charlie goes into labor. Michael and Audrey assist her through the delivery, while loud, echoing horns sound from the sky. On the roof, Jeep and Bob see lightning illuminate the landscape, revealing thousands of possessed individuals materializing from the darkness. After a strenuous effort, a healthy baby boy is born, but Charlie refuses to hold him. She wants Michael to take the child and raise him, but he tells her this is her journey to complete. Audrey presents the baby to Sandra, who is reminded of her own motherhood and apologizes to her daughter for her earlier behavior, all while covertly working at her restraints. When the baby cries, the sound causes the possessed outside to clutch their heads in pain. The horn blasts again, and Michael tells everyone to prepare. Gabriel is coming to finish it. The group realizes Michael's original mission was to kill the baby, which he confirms, but he also reveals the child was never meant to be born, proving that the future and God's will are mutable. A sense of betrayal washes over Charlie, who reaches for her son, but Sandra, having freed herself, snatches him first. She intends to hand the child over to the enemy in exchange for their departure. As the horns grow louder, a blast of light blows the door open. Michael fires and kills Sandra, who drops the baby. Jeep catches him just in time. Gabriel then enters, his wings spread in an intimidating display, and attacks Jeep with his mace. Jeep narrowly avoids the blow while Bob opens fire, but Gabriel uses his wings as a shield, spinning until he is close enough to slash Bob's abdomen. As Gabriel hurls Bob into the kitchen, Jeep moves to help, but Michael intercepts him, telling him to escape with the child. He instructs him to find the prophet and read the instructions, a message Jeep doesn't comprehend. Audrey, Charlie, Jeep, and the baby exit through the back and find the possessed horde standing with heads bowed in reverence. They do not move, allowing the group to reach their car and drive away. Inside the diner, Michael tells Gabriel he is indifferent to his own fate now that the child is safe. He proposes a truce, but Gabriel rejects it, and another fight ensues. Michael fires rapidly as Gabriel moves constantly, attacking with his mace and wings. Their weapons clash, and Gabriel throws Michael against a wall. He then tries to kill him by activating his mace, which transforms into a saw. Michael fights back with powerful blows, even smashing a television set over Gabriel's head. The archangels trade a series of punches and kicks until Gabriel finds an opening and slashes Michael's abdomen with his wing. This is not enough to stop Michael, who disarms Gabriel and begins to choke him. Gabriel takes flight, smashes Michael against the ceiling, retrieves his mace, and finally kills his brother. As Gabriel weeps, Michael's body dissolves into light and vanishes. At the same instant, markings appear on Jeep's arm. He understands these are Michael's instructions. Gabriel then hears a noise and finds Bob still alive in the kitchen. Bob uses a lighter near the oven, triggering a massive explosion that engulfs Gabriel and everyone outside. Moments later, Gabriel materializes on top of the car and begins to tear at the roof. Jeep shoots at him, causing him to lose his footing, but Gabriel clings to the trunk, impervious to Jeep's bullets. Audrey fires a flare at him, but Gabriel deflects it, causing it to ricochet inside the car. The angel then climbs into the vehicle, knocking Audrey down before reaching for the baby. Jeep grabs his arm and battles him while accelerating. Audrey seizes Gabriel and yells for Jeep to hit the brakes, which he does. The abrupt stop sends Audrey and Gabriel hurtling through the windshield. The car tumbles down a hill and crashes into a ditch. The family, miraculously unharmed, exits the car and begins to climb a mountain. Gabriel pursues them again, knocking Jeep down and demanding the baby. Charlie refuses to surrender her son. Jeep then tackles Gabriel, sending them both over a cliff. On the ground below, Gabriel draws his knife to kill Jeep, but is interrupted by a brilliant light. It is Michael, resurrected with his wings and his angelic status restored. He tells Gabriel that while he always gave God what he asked for, Michael had given him what he truly needed. Gabriel attempts to kill his brother again, but Michael, now at full power, easily strikes him down. He refuses to deliver the final blow, stating that a lack of mercy was Gabriel's downfall. An insulted Gabriel flies away, and Michael follows after declaring Jeep the child's true protector. Later, Jeep, Charlie, and the baby discover a survivor settlement, ready to raise the last hope for humanity. Remember to subscribe and activate notifications to stay updated with more content like this. We appreciate you tuning in.